What if I told you the hurricanes destroying cities, the wildfires turning skies blood red, the heat waves cooking people alive aren't natural at all? What if the storms you see on your weather app aren't acts of God, but acts of government? Because the truth is, extreme weather might just be the most powerful weapon the cabal has ever used. And the fingerprints of geoengineering are written across the sky for anyone awake enough to notice. Think about it. We're told climate change is responsible for every flood, every drought, every superstorm. But ask yourself, why do these disasters always seem to strike at the exact moments that benefit political agendas, corporate profits, or globalist narratives? Why is it that billionaires, banks, and governments always come out stronger after catastrophe, while ordinary people lose everything? Nature doesn't pick sides, but men who control the weather do. And don't forget that technology exists. They've admitted it. Project Storm Fury in the 1960s. Operation Popeye in Vietnam, where the US military literally made it rain to bog down the enemy. HAARP in Alaska, an ionospheric heater capable of manipulating weather patterns on a planetary scale. Cloud seeding contracts openly listed on government websites today. This isn't science fiction. It's science hidden in plain sight. Now look at the timing. Maui burns to the ground in a firestorm so fast it defied every natural pattern. Entire neighborhoods turned to ash, while billionaire mansions on the same island stood untouched. Within weeks, developers were salivating over land grabs. Coincidence? Or was a paradise intentionally cleared for profit, disguised as tragedy? Then came the floods in Libya, the wildfires in Canada that sent smoke across the entire US, the hurricane season that just happens to coincide with political cycles. Do you see the pattern yet? And here's where it gets even darker. Weather as a weapon isn't just about destruction, it's about control. When you can create droughts, you can starve populations into submission. When you can flood farmland, you can wipe out food supplies overnight. When you can unleash storms, you can devastate economies and force entire regions into dependency. It's silent warfare, with no bullets, no bombs, and no smoking gun. Just the illusion of bad luck and natural disasters. But the symbols, the numbers, the rituals, they always surface. 33 counties destroyed in one storm. 33 million people displaced by floods in Pakistan. 33 wildfires burning simultaneously across multiple states. Over and over again, the same calling card. For the elite, numerology isn't superstition, it's a language. And when you see the number 33 stamped on disaster after disaster, you're not looking at nature. You're looking at a ritual. Let's talk about the skies themselves. Look up. You've seen it. The crisscrossing streaks that linger too long, spreading into hazy clouds that block the sun. They told you it was contrails, but contrails don't turn into blankets that dim the sky. Those streaks are chemical trails. Aluminum, barium, strontium. Particulates sprayed to manipulate weather patterns and reflect sunlight. Geoengineering, openly discussed at climate conferences, but denied in mainstream news as a conspiracy theory. Funny how the sky doesn't lie. And who benefits? The same corporations buying farmland after floods, the same billionaires pushing lab-grown meat as crops fail, the same banks issuing climate disaster bonds and cashing in on catastrophe. And of course, governments who swoop in with emergency powers, declaring states of disaster that suspend rights, move populations, and funnel billions into recovery programs. Disaster isn't just profitable, it's controllable chaos. Consider this. Every time the narrative of climate change begins to fade, a new once-in-a-century disaster strikes to remind the public of the urgency. Fires, floods, heat waves. The timing is too perfect. And every time the solution pushed is the same. Surrender freedom, expand government power, accept a digital carbon footprint, live under surveillance, eat bugs instead of beef, pay new taxes to save the planet. But save it from what? The weather? Or the ones controlling the weather? The psychological side is just as dangerous. Extreme weather keeps populations in fear. Fear of losing your home, fear of starvation, fear of being left behind in chaos. A fearful population doesn't question authority. A fearful population begs for protection, And when protection comes with strings attached, digital IDs, central bank digital currencies, climate lockdowns, most people will accept it without a second thought. That's how the war's won. Still think this is wild speculation? Go back and read government patents. Weather modification patents exist by the hundreds. Look up Senate Bill 517 from 2005. The US literally passed legislation to create a Weather Modification Advisory Board. Or dig into the UN's ENMOD treaty from the 1970s, which banned the use of weather manipulation for warfare. Let me ask you, why ban something unless it already exists? Why write laws about weapons that don't work? The truth is, they work too well. Even the mainstream media slips sometimes. Reports of cloud seeding in Dubai, China openly admitting to controlling weather before the Olympics, Saudi Arabia boasting about rain-making technology. Do you really believe the US, with the most advanced military on Earth, isn't 50 years ahead of what's admitted publicly? When foreign nations brag about technology we've been calling conspiracy, you know the cover is starting to crack. So ask yourself, why is your city flooding while farmland dries up? Why are wildfires perfectly clearing areas earmarked for smart city developments? Why are hurricanes stalling unnaturally, hammering the same regions over and over again, when nature has never behaved this way? Because it isn't nature. It's engineering. It's warfare. And it's being waged against us, not for us. And here's the final piece: predictive programming. Movies, TV shows, even commercials constantly show weather disasters destroying civilization. Entire generations are being conditioned to expect catastrophe, to normalize endless natural chaos. So when the engineered storm comes, people don't question it. They've been programmed to accept it as reality. The bottom line is this: extreme weather is no longer just weather. It's a lever of control, a weapon of mass manipulation, and a ritualistic display of power. The elites have weaponized the sky itself, and most people still look up and think it's just clouds. But if you've connected the dots, Maui, Canada, Libya, the endless 33s, the perfectly timed coincidences, you know better. So the next time the news tells you a storm came out of nowhere, remember, nothing comes out of nowhere. Not in this system, not in this age. If the disaster benefits the powerful, you can bet it wasn't an accident. You be the judge. If you're awake, you already know what to do. Hit the link in our description and sign up to our free underground newsletter.